All right. Let me introduce you to the members of the band so you know who's playing. We're going to start with our pianist, Lawrence Fields. Now, he hails from St. Louis, Missouri, or St. Louis, Missouri. It's really difficult to put into words what his contribution is in this moment. Lawrence is a guy that can take any language in music, something that comes from an Indian raga, something that comes from a Polish folk song, and he has the ability to process these languages in a creative, improvised context, a jazz context. Now, that's not talent, that's hard work. And for me, what I love most about it is it means to do that, to choose to play music in this way, means that you have to acknowledge other people's cultures. It means you have to love and care about and want to understand why these other cultures make these decisions. So when you meet Lawrence, you're meeting a warm, kind person, someone that's going to connect with you right in your eyes. He's a deeply feeling person, and it makes sense that someone like this has a gift like that.
Whoa.
Yeah?
Wow.
Now, as great as a pianist, as a piano player as he is, because he's such a good man, I'd just like to introduce him as my friend, Mr. Lawrence Fields, y'all. Lawrence Fields. Up next on the bass from Poland, our brother's been in the band for about 2 years with us. The first week that he made with us, the first gig he shows up, there's no sound check, there's no rehearsal. Everyone is really nervous. We said, do you know the music? He says, I know the music. From the first beat to the last beat, nailed it. Incredible. So we're all freaking out. We're together for 2 weeks. We're playing every night. He sounds amazing. 14 days go by and we realize that none of us had ever had a real conversation with Max. So we didn't know how good his English was, and because we're really silly, we started to go around. I was telling audiences every night that I thought he was a fucking serial killer. Because we didn't think he understood, so we're making fun. The last night of the tour, I get to my room, I take a shower, get in bed, I'm about to go to sleep, and I hear something in my room go, and it's this motherfucker with no clothes on, socks, and a knife. Right. Who's the serial killer now? Oh shit, this motherfucker's crazy. And so from that point on, when he chooses to speak, he's the funniest motherfucker we all know. And so I make fun of these guys. We have a lot of fun, but obviously he's an incredible bassist. You heard him play earlier on West of the West. Y'all give it up for Max Muha on the bass, y'all. Max Muha, y'all. On the djembe, congas, and bata. Did you just say naked? And that's a long time ago. It doesn't do that anymore. Now, this is one of the baddest cats on this planet that plays this music, one of the young kings in this culture of music. Anywhere you go, this is what they're going to say. Weedie understands the traditional rhythms, the folkloric, rhythms, ritual practice, all these rhythms that come from these spaces. But he's also born right directly in the line of some of the greatest New Orleanian drummers as well. He represents the reevaluation that we talk about more than anyone else because, in America, often the narrative about jazz goes that jazz is West African rhythms and European harmony. And all of the jazz musicians said, what? Now, yes, they are, obviously I love European harmony, that's not what I'm saying, but it pushes forward the idea that there's no harmony in Africa. And now this is a well-held idea in a lot of musical circles. Decolonializing our spaces, including music, is important, right? But I'm going to tell you why. It's not a racial thing, any of these things. It's about looking and taking an honest appraisal of someone's contribution and being honest about what it is. That's it. That's all it is. Now, Weedie represents the new future of this music, but he also represents the actual past, right? When you listen to what it is that he's doing, these are the things that jazz developed out. The root of the tree in jazz music, it's a music of a migrant culture of Africans that were taken to America, kidnapped, we know, slavery, all these things. But once emancipated, that were allowed to play these instruments and created a completely new sound. That is rooted in Africa, not Europe. Mr. Weedie Braimah, y'all. All right. Up next is our drummer. He hates this story, but I'm telling it because he's my motherfucking man. That's my man right there. And I tease him, I give him a hard time because I love him so much. I remember when Corey was 14 years old. I met him when he was a kid. He asked me for my phone number at the Grammys. I gave him my phone number. He called me every fucking day for 5 years. As my grandmother. So this is weird. You know, when you can tell it's little boys playing on the phone, young guys playing on the phone, but they're saying really wild shit like they're gonna give me a whooping. That was really weird. And so 5 years pass, year 4 passes, I hire him, he joins the band. We still didn't know it was him for a year. Yeah, so it's really weird. I want you to hear just a little bit of it. He hates when I do this, but I'm doing this shit because we in Paris and it's funny to me.
Christy, baby, this is your grandma. I know where you live. I'm gonna come and whoop your ass. Bye.
Every day for 5 years. Now, I tease these guys, I make fun, but you know, I just appreciate the fact that, you know, if you're on somebody's mind like that, you know, and he wants to have this information, he wants to learn. When he first came to me, he told me that he was ready to be in the band. And I said, you're pretty young, you're 13, wait a few years and then you can join us. I said, you have to practice 5 to 7 hours every day for the next 5 years and then maybe you can walk with us. And he says, he just looks at me. And I appreciated that he wasn't afraid of the work that's required to do this job, right? That touched me. So we stayed in touch. Now you fast forward 14, 15 years, something like that. And this guy's the leading exponent on this instrument for this generation of drummers. Corey leads his own band, Butcher Brown. That's the baddest fucking band in America. If you don't believe me, listen and then come talk to me about it. Now, imagine if like Jimi Hendrix had listened to Tupac. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy. So a phenomenal talent, all of 29 years old now. He's getting old, catching up, right? Mr. Corey Fonville on the drums, y'all. Up next on the alto saxophone, the king of the young alto for our generation. This is a man that redefined this music purely with his sounds. Logan is the guy that for our generation of creative improvisers showed that the intention when playing and communicating to someone should be to communicate effectively. It should be to really connect. Sincerity does this more than technique. And so he's the one that showed us that, yeah, you can have a lot of chops and play anything that you want to play, but you should always ask yourself, why am I playing it? What am I communicating to this person when I say that? He's so intentional about the things that he builds, and to me, this is why I think in our time, he's an heir apparent to the great Charlie Parker's legacy. Right. You guys know who the bird is, right? Yeah. All right. He owns Charlie Parker's house, actually, too. You know, he really does. In Kansas City, he owns his home. And so this is, but think about that. Think about that type of ancestral love and care. So when you have a hero, to make sure that America doesn't destroy it or build a condo, that you buy it and you protect that energy. So you're looking at a man that's a serious man, an incredible talent, and certainly a young genius, Mr. Logan Richardson. All right. right, this is the fun point in the set. We let you guys pick what we're gonna play. So, I didn't say it was a request line. You get a choice of 2 options. Motherfucker's like, you know gin and juice? Kind of blue. Okay, my music, thank you. Kind of was okay, maybe that could be. That's a whole record though. Kind of Blue's not one of the songs. Kind of new? How do you know that?
It's great.
Oh man, this is the first record I ever played on in Europe. I was 16 years old. I played on this record with Kenny Barron, Carl Allen, all of these guys, and I thought no one ever heard that again. Okay, so YouTube. I'm not mad at it, you know. Okay, so we either gotta play, since you brought up Miles, we can maybe do some Miles Cats or something, you know. We'll either play a song that Miles covered called Guinevere, that's on the circle and the rounds. So we can play Guinevere, which is more of a slow, moody thing. I don't know what kind of mood you're in. A slow, moody thing. Or we can play Eye of the Hurricane, which is kind of a fast, this is a litmus test for what the
Here we go.
All right, so listen. Oh, wait, we have a system. You know, you guys invented this shit, right? We got a system. Those in favor of Eye of the Hurricane, say aye. Okay, that was Eye of the Hurricane, aye. Okay, hold on, let me just give a rule. Because some of you motherfuckers are gonna scream again. You scream the first time, you can't scream the second time, okay? I know you want to do both. I have the same problem. Okay, all right, one more time. Eye of the Hurricane, aye. Aye. Okay, Guinevere, aye. Aye.